Welcome back. We are still in section 3, field methods, moving on to module 3.3, quality control and data management. I'm Jennifer Sturdy. I am with the Center for Effective Global Action here at UC Berkeley. I am the program director for the Berkeley Initiative for Transparency in the Social Sciences. So, moving on to quality control and data management. There is a great resource available through the IDB on this topic, improving the quality of data and impact evaluation studies in developing countries. This resource goes into further detail on the foundations that we discuss in this lecture, so please do reference that in addition to your learning guides. So why do we care about data quality checks? Data quality, as we discussed in module 3.2, is of course one of the fundamental factors for the quality of our evaluation itself. If we don't have good data, we probably don't have a very good evaluation. So data quality helps us align the various actors involved in impact evaluation. It does allow us to access technology that has been created to ensure high quality data and reduce costs. And results from impact evaluations are more accurate when we introduce these data quality checks at hopefully a lower cost overall. So what are the components of data quality assurance? First, computer quality checks during fieldwork. Second, types of data quality checks. 3, central computer-based monitoring of field workers. 4, human on-site supervision. So going into computer quality checks. The issue to think about here is that whether you're doing a paper-based or an electronic-based survey, you can use microcomputers in the field that can be programmed with multiple quality checks that can be run as data are entered. So if you're collecting data with paper-based surveys, you can enter the data into the computers at night while still in the field. Of course, this adds a layer of complexity to your field team management, but it is possible. Or if you have decided to use an electronic based data collection, it's a little bit easier to do this seamlessly. In any event, if you do use this kind of field-based quality checks, errors and inconsistencies can then be detected while the interviewers are still in the field. In this way, errors could be corrected by means of the interviewer revisiting the household. So it's really important to think about integrating computer-based quality control checks into fieldwork. Corrects inconsistencies at their source rather than finding the inconsistency some weeks or months later while actually conducting the data analysis. We actually are able to identify them while still in the field. This also allows us to generate databases that are ready for tabulation and analysis in a timely fashion. So entering data in the field in parallel with data collection certainly allows for quicker access to the data for not only quality checks, but also to begin tabulation and analysis. It ensures uniform criteria are applied throughout the full period of data collection. And this also provides immediate feedback on the performance of the field staff. So your supervisors are able to identify any inconsistencies in data collection. So for example, seeing that one interviewer in particular seems to consistently hit the same skip pattern that allows them to skip over several modules, thereby reducing the duration of their interview time, is a great red flag that can be identified with this sort of computer-based quality control check. Second, there are a few types of data quality checks that can be integrated depending on the type of data being collected. There are range checks, reference tables, skip checks, consistency checks, typographical checks. So range checks. Range checks ensure that every variable in the survey contains only data within a limited domain of valid values. So categorical values should only take on their predefined values, and numeric value variables should be verified to lie within prescribed minimum and maximum levels. For example, a range check would certainly identify when an enumerator has entered someone's age as 152. That's highly unlikely, and it is likely that the maximum level for age would certainly be set less than 152. Reference tables are a special case of range checking. These are used when the data from two or more closely related fields can be checked against an external reference table. So for example, the recorded values for height, weight, and age are checked against the World Health Organization's standard reference tables. Skip checks. Skip checks allow us to verify whether the interviewer correctly followed the instructions in the questionnaire to skip certain questions depending on the characteristics or answers of the interviewee. So for example, children less than 5 years of age should be measured in the anthropometric section, but the questions about occupation should not be asked to them. One would think that the occupation section may be applied to perhaps those who are 15 years or older, and so you wouldn't expect to see any entries for children who are less than 5 years old in that occupation module. Consistency checks. So consistency checks allow us to verify that values from one question are consistent with values from another question. So for example, one would not expect to see men, at least individuals who have been identified as male in the survey, responding to a prenatal care module, for example. Another example is certainly matching or verifying and looking at consistency of the age of parents and their children. So one would think that a parent shouldn't be 2 or 3 years older than their child. Finally, we want to make sure there are checks in place to ensure misspellings are corrected or numerical values are consistent over time. So in one module, individual is listed as 14 years old, making sure that there isn't some inconsistency across modules where their age is perhaps switched from 14 to 41. There are several electronic surveying platforms that can assist with this sort of data quality checks that we have discussed. So CS Pro can certainly build in a lot of these consistency checks. Open Data Kit, Blaze, and Survey Solutions, as well as many more. That brings us to computer-based monitoring of field workers. This exercise can certainly be done by supervisors or other data quality control team members, but there are several fieldwork quality indicators that can be monitored over time in order to definitely assess the performance of interview teams. Examples of these quality indicators include missing values for important variables, undercounting of certain profile of respondents, the sizes of households interviewed changing over time. So if you see a decline in the number of household members declining significantly over time, it might be that your interviewer has learned that the fewer household members they record, the less time they have to spend interviewing in the household. And another indicator is accuracy in coding open-ended questions. More, of course, can be found in your learning guides. The fourth issue to consider is, of course, on-site supervision. So again, this falls on the team leader supervisor functions. And as discussed in Module 3.2, this involves several potential activities. So, of course, observation directly of interviews, review of the completed questionnaires to review them for consistency, whether that's the paper-based or data entered in the field. Reviewing the list of errors and inconsistencies that are generated by the data entry program is if this is in fact incorporated into your fieldwork strategy. Conducting checkup visits, and ensuring that all activities are completed according to the survey and work plans in place. In closing, a few words directly for evaluators themselves. So keep in mind, data quality is important to all of us. We don't want to just put that in the hands of the survey firm. We definitely want to make sure the evaluators are participating in data quality assurance activities as well. So there are several possible ways that evaluators and the evaluation team, whether it's the principal investigator or their supporting staff, should be involved. This could involve visits to fieldwork teams and directly observing the fieldwork as it is ongoing, direct observation of interviews, centralized remote monitoring of data quality. So again, if we're conducting field-based data entry, ensuring that that data is entered and sent to a centralized location where the evaluator or the evaluator's team can conduct remote monitoring of the data quality. Follow-up on general survey activities, as well as periodic meetings with the survey firm to ensure that the firm is managing data collection in line with study protocols and the survey and work plans that have been agreed to with the evaluation team, as well as any protocols that have been submitted to and approved and in agreement with institutional review boards for protection of human subjects. So again, keep in mind, data quality is everyone's responsibility. So that concludes Section 3, Module 3.3.